Did you know that 50% of people in relationships admit that they're staying not because of love, but because they're scared to be alone? Now, let that sink in and think about it. Are you in love or are you just attached? Are you with your partner because you genuinely love them? Are you in this relationship because it grows you and it makes your life better? Or are you clinging it out of fear, insecurity, or just a habit? Are you staying because your heart is fully invested in them, or is it just because you're terrified of being alone? See, most people, they don't know the difference. And if you're one of them, then you're at risk of wasting years of your life just stuck into something that isn't real love. But today, we're gonna get brutally honest. I'm gonna help you figure out whether you're holding on to love or clinging to attachment. But before we begin, if you wanna know why social media can slow your healing after a heartbreak, then make sure you watch this video right here after you finish watching this one. I'll leave a link to the video down in the description and in the comment box as well. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe if you get any value out of these videos. But let's dive into today's video, because staying in a relationship for the wrong reasons could be the very thing that's holding you back from the life that you truly deserve. Let's start with this. Love and attachment are not the same thing. Love is selfless. It's giving. It's about wanting the best for someone even when there's nothing in it for you. You know, it's like sunlight. It shines freely without expecting anything in return, and it nurtures and grows everything it touches. You know, love is it's like this plant. It's rooted, strong, and independent. You know, it thrives on care, light, and nourishment. And, you know, if I set this plant down, you know, it's fine on its own. It doesn't need, anything to survive other than just water and sunlight. But it chooses to grow. And when placed next to, the other plants, it creates something beautiful together, a garden. Attachment, on the other hand, is like a parasite. It latches onto something, draining it for survival, and it only thrives when it's feeding off of someone else. It looks like this. It clings, it wraps itself around something else, and and it can't even stand on its own. It's messy, and it suffocates everything that it is attached to. It just to survive. And if I remove the support, this vine, it collapses. It doesn't grow. It destroys. So now ask yourself, is your relationship like this plant? Is it growing, on its own while building something strong and beautiful together? Or is it like this vine, clinging, out of fear, suffocating the life out of, what could have been a healthy love? If it's the vine, it's time to cut it loose, because you can't grow until you're willing to stand on your own. Let's dive a little deeper on what real love looks like. So, I believe love feels free. Love is about choosing someone every single day, not because, you need them, but because you genuinely want to build a life with them. It's about supporting their growth, even when that growth doesn't directly benefit you. See, love doesn't chain you down or demand, all of your attention. It encourages individuality while still fostering togetherness. When you're in love, you feel safe being vulnerable, but you also respect boundaries. You celebrate their wins as if it were your own, and you're willing to make sacrifices for them without keeping score. See, a study, in the Journal of Social and Personal Relationships found that people in loving, healthy relationships reported lower levels of stress and higher levels of overall happiness. That's because love isn't about taking, it's about building. Now imagine two people on a rowboat. Both of them are rowing together, working as a team to get to the same destination. Sure, one might paddle harder on certain days when the other one's tired, but the goal is always mutual progress. That's love. You're in sync. You're a team. Now let's talk about the dark side, attachment. You see, attachment, it doesn't build you up. It weighs you down. You might think you're in love, but if you're constantly worried about losing them, or you feel like you can't live without them, that's attachment. It's not healthy. Attachment is fear in disguise, fear of being alone, fear of starting over, fear of not being good enough. Now, let me ask you this. Have you ever stayed in a relationship where you knew deep down that you were being disrespected, but you didn't leave because the idea of being single scared you more. That is attachment. A survey from Pew Research Center found that 27% of adults in unhealthy relationships, they admitted that they stayed because they didn't think that they could find someone better. That's not love, it's settling. And settling, well, it never leads to happiness. So you're probably wondering, how do you figure out if what you're feeling is love or attachment? Well, you got to be honest with yourself and ask yourself these questions. 1, would you still want to be with this person if they couldn't give you what you want, whether that's money, validation, or even their physical presence? Are you staying because you care deeply about their happiness or because you're scared of being alone? Understand that love, it should make you feel like the best version of yourself. Attachment, it chains you down, making you dependent on someone else to feel whole. The Bible makes this distinction crystal clear. In 1 John 4:18, it says, there is no fear in love, but perfect love drives out fear. Hear that again. There is no fear in love, but perfect love drives out fear. You see, if fear is at the core of your relationship, fear of losing them, fear of being alone, then it's not love. Real love is fearless. It doesn't come with strings attached or conditions. It empowers you. It lifts you higher. So let's say you're starting to realize that what you've been holding on to isn't love, it's attachment. Now what? Well, let me tell you this. Breaking free isn't easy, but it's necessary. If you want to live a life of freedom and fulfillment, then you got to cut those chains. First, acknowledge the truth. Stop lying to yourself. If it's not love, call it what it is. Denial will only keep you stuck. Next, start rebuilding your self-worth. Attachment often stems from, low self-esteem or unresolved trauma. You got to work on yourself. Whether that means therapy, picking up new hobbies, or setting new goals. Find your identity outside of the relationship. Then set boundaries. If someone isn't treating you right, stop tolerating it. Stop accepting breadcrumbs when you deserve the whole loaf. And if they can't give you that, then walk away. And finally, you got to lean on your faith. You're not meant to do this alone. Pray for strength. Trust that God has a better plan for you. Jeremiah 29:11 says, for I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. Trust God. Let go of what's holding you back so you can step into the future that He has for you. I'm not here to sugarcoat anything and tell you that, letting go of a toxic attachment is going to be easy. Sometimes letting go is hard and it's going to hurt. It's like, it's going to feel like, you're ripping out a part of yourself. But know that pain is temporary. But staying attached to the wrong person, that's a life sentence. Do you really want to spend the next 5, 10, 20 years living in misery just because you were too scared to face the pain of letting go? Think of it. It's like pulling a splinter, right? You're pulling a splinter out of your hand. It stings at the moment, but once it's out, the healing begins. And that's what you need to focus on. The healing, the freedom, the new opportunities that are waiting for you on the other side. See, life's too short to waste it on the wrong relationships. Every moment you spend clinging to someone who isn't right for you is a moment that you're stealing from your future self. Don't just stay because it's comfortable. Comfort zones are where dreams go to die. Take a hard look at the relationship and ask yourself, is this love or am I just scared to let go? You deserve a relationship that uplifts you, challenges you, and makes you feel alive. You deserve love, not fear, not dependency, not attachment. So choose better, demand better, be better, and remember, real love, It doesn't just happen. It's built on the foundation of truth, respect, and faith. If this video hit you in the gut, good. Then it means it's time to take action. Drop a comment down below and let me know your thoughts. And if you got any value out of this video, then YouTube suggests that you probably get value out of these videos as well. And before you check out any of those videos, make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. I'll see you in one of these videos, but remember, you're stronger than your fears and you are worthy of real love.